my channel, it's Kai here. For today's video, I am in front of my figure cases, and if you have seen previous videos or you've been on my TikTok or my TikTok lives, you might know that I only had 2, and now I have 3 figure cases. So with that, I've been doing a lot of thinking, some soul searching, some, you know, finding out my inner peace and what that means. And so I've come to the conclusion that now that I have 3 figure cases, now that I have room, that means I can start thinking about buying figures again. If you watch my figure collection video, which I will have a title card up here for you guys, as well as I'll have it in the description box below, then I'm pretty sure I said I'm very happy with my collection. I don't need any more figures.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
Nor do I have room for them, but alas, I've evolved. So with that, I thought it would be really fun because a lot of figure collectors that I follow here on YouTube do their Holy Grail figure wish list or just their figure wish lists. So I thought it would be fun to document and to go through and just sort of see if I had all the money in the world, what figures I would buy. But I thought it would be a fun video, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna be using the website My Figure Collection, which I will link mine down below for you guys, but I feel like this is the best way to sort of visualize and to go through all the figures and to talk about them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen with you guys. I have 48 wished, so there are a lot. This is sort of where I'm at right now with the figures that I want in my collection. And the way that they do theirs, I really, really like. When you wish, you could put up to like 4 or 5 stars. So we're starting off with the first one. So this is the Artifacts J Levi figure. They have a Mikasa version as well as an Aaron version, but I personally only really want the Levi one. I have a Levi figure in my collection and I absolutely love it. It's probably one of my top 10 figures. But this one is just really, really, really dynamic. The painting is beautiful. I have seen many figure collectors own this figure and it calls out to me. For this one, I definitely I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but it could even creep on 4. This is a figure that I really, really, really want in my collection. So we're starting out strong. I love this figure so much. Okay, next one's another Levi.
Another one.
Apparently, I'm trying to build a Levi shrine. Which, I mean, who wouldn't? He's a beautiful fidget spinner man. We love him. This next one is, cue the cat purring noises. He looks so good. It is him when he's on this like red chair. And this is a Union Creative International Ltd is the manufacturer for this one. It's not one of the brands that I normally go for, but I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars in terms of how badly I want it because it is such a beautiful figure. The way he holds his teacup, the detail in the chair, the outfit, it's just perfect. I mean, he looks so beautiful and I would give anything to have this figure in my collection. So there we go. Okay, next one. I have had my eye on this figure since I started figure collecting. So many people I know have this figure. It is the Artifacts Roy Mustang figure. I love Artifacts figures. I love Figure Art Zero figures. And what I love the most about them is the effects. And so I love the height of this figure. I love the fire at the bottom with the stone, and it's just so dynamic from top to bottom. But it also doesn't take away from the character. I give this one a 2 out of 5 because even though it's something I've wanted from the get-go, it's not something based on the figures I have in my collection currently that I'm like absolutely must die to have. But if I ever got the chance to purchase this, I definitely would. And I know unfortunately the aftermarket price for this figure is redonkulous. So
This is redonkulous.
Absolutely redonkulous.
all right, the next one is a Corazon figure. This figure right now is currently my ultimate holy grail. I want this figure more than anything, more than life itself. If I could have this figure right now, I would. Unfortunately, it's about $300.
I've only got 7.
I see it every time I go to Little Tokyo, and every time I have to walk away from it, I want to die a little bit inside.
I died a little bit inside.
And that might be dramatic, but look at this figure. So this figure, first of all, I love Corazon. He had 4 episodes, and he's quite frankly one of the best One Piece side characters. But what I love about this figure is that it goes with a little lol. It's incredibly dynamic. Okay, here, this picture kind of shows it together. But it's just such a beautiful scene in the anime, and I think this figure just does it so much justice. It also has 2 different face plates with his like silly goofy smile. But like, I genuinely would give anything to have this figure. It might be the only figure that I gave a 5 out of 5 for in terms of wishability. Just because like this, I think will be my next big figure purchase. And by big figure purchase, I mean like my more higher end, high price figures. Next one, actually my friend recently got, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 of wishability, but I honestly would probably drop it down to a 4 after having seen it in person. It's this Yoriichi figure. I am a hoe for Yoriichi, excuse my language. I love her so much. She's so beautiful. The pose is amazing. The cat, everything about this figure is amazing. It's sexy, it's fun, it's great. However, in person, it is not as, the face is lacking something. I will definitely say the photos of the figure look much better than in person. Like, here's a good close-up. It does not look as detailed from the photo my friend sent when he got the figure, which is why I'm dropping it down to a 4, but I would still love to have this figure in my collection. I would love for her to grace my shelves. Okay, next is a Milim Nava. I'm kind of working on getting a Milim shrine going because one of my Milim pre-orders finally shipped after being delayed for many months. And actually when I pre-ordered that figure, I was between that figure, which you will probably see in a haul video later on, and this figure right here, and I decided to go with the other one first, but I still really want this one. Milim is so adorable. She's probably one of my favorite female characters, top 3 favorite female characters of all time. I love her, that's why I've cosplayed her, and what I really liked about this figure was the posing of it. The other one, which I'll put on the screen for you guys right here, the pose was also super cute, but I loved that Rimuru was bigger, so that's why I went with that one. And this one, I just think Milim's pose in general is super cute, super flirty, even though she's not like a sexual character at all. But it just really shows her personality, and I love the little Rimuru on her butt, and she's got a little honey. The pose is great, the coloring is great. I'd say my only complaint about this figure is the base. But overall, I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars, solely because I did just get have a Milim figure coming. So I don't think I need a new one just yet, but if I had the chance to purchase this one, I definitely would. Moving along, I have a lot of these, so I'm trying to go as quickly as possible, but I'm a rambler. The next one is an Artifacts J Fire Force figure. I have the Benimaru version of this one, which I am currently blocking, / you can't really see. And it is honestly top 3 favorite figures in my figure collection. I want to get black lights built into these solely so I could show it off. And I want the Shinra to go with it. I think Shinra is an amazing main character. He's super cute. I don't really think I need Tamaki or Arthur. Right now it's definitely not on my wish list, but he is. I love his base. I think it'll look great with the Benimaru. I love his face. Like his facial expression. I just think it looks really great. And I gave this one a 4 out of 5 just because I think, like I said a million times, I think it's a great figure. I think it would be really cool in my collection, and I would love to have it to go with my Benimaru. Next is one of my ultimate husbands of all time. If you watched my last video, which was my husband ranking, he's number 2. So I feel like I definitely need a figure of him, and it is this GEM or GEM figure. honestly haven't seen many good Grimjo figures, but this one in particular was one of the only ones that stood out to me. Bleach doesn't have the best figures in my opinion, and the ones that are the best are of the same few characters, but I love the pose on this one. I think they got his smirk down pat. I love the little stone feature, and imagine that and then the Yorichi next to it and just sort of the stone theme I think would be amazing together. But it is, because I still haven't finished the anime, it's not necessarily a figure I need right now, so that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5. Next is a One Piece figure. I feel like I haven't really given you guys many One Piece figures, but trust me, there are a lot that I want.
But I want it now!
This one is a the door painting collection figure of Luffy, and it actually goes with the Nami, which is also on my list. But I love this. It's super animalistic, it's super fun, dirty, gritty, nitty, you know, all the adjectives. But I love the outfits, I love the pose. One thing One Piece never misses on is truly the outfits, the clothes. And this is actually based on an artwork, which I'll insert a picture of for you guys. But yeah, I love this figure. However, I do want the Nami a little bit more, so I did give this one a 3 out of 5 in terms of wishability. Next is a Rimuru figure. I definitely think it would be fun to have with my Milim, and this is from Apex Innovation. It's so cute! It's Ranga and Rimuru on this little patch. It's also got the little slime version of him. I love the base. I think that's what really draws me to this figure in particular. I think the base is amazing. My one complaint with slime figures, there are lots of them. There are lots of Rimurus, lots of Shions, lots of Shunas. There's lots of figures, but I don't think they're the best figures in the world. In my opinion. You have these amazing character designs, but unfortunately I think their figures fall flat, and a lot of that is the hair. But with this one, I don't hate the hair. I don't hate Rimuru's face. I love the pose. I love the detailing of this figure. And honestly, I gave this a 1 out of 2 in terms of wishability, or 1 out of 5, but I'm gonna move it up to a 2.
Yeah, pick one. Pick one.
Next is a Zoro figure. I'm currently working on a Zoro shrine. Right now he's mixed in with Chopper, but this is another pop figure, and it is so beautiful. The detailing is amazing. The coloring is very, very unique, which I kind of am obsessed with. The pose is dynamic. I mean, it's just overall a really, really beautiful figure. I gave it a 5 out of 5 in terms of wishability, just because I feel like this is almost a perfect figure for me.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I love it a lot. Next is the Nami that goes with the Luffy that I showed you guys a few figures ago. This one I gave a 4 out of 5 in terms of wishability, because I really, really like the Nami in this. And I actually have no Nami figures, which is kind of a shame. And so I would love to have her in my collection, because she is my second favorite One Piece girl, and I want to represent that. And I just think this pose is super hot. I just think the outfit is super hot. I love it. There's that. Next is another One Piece figure. This time it is an Ace figure. I love Ace. I actually don't have him yet. And this is like the Levi figure, him on a chair, but this is actually a pop figure. I love it. I think it's a super sexy figure. Cue cat purring noises again, because it is beautiful. The hat on his knee, the pose with the shoe off, the smirk. I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful figure. Would give anything to have it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 in terms of wishability. Next is a Nanami figure. I love Nanami. I only have one figure of him, and it's kind of plain, but there is this version, which I really like the effects on it, and the pose he's doing. He kind of does the same pose in every figure that I've seen of him, but I just think the dynamic of the hand here and here just really balances really well with the figure. This is a Shibuya Scramble figure. The coloring is great. The face isn't as detailed as I would like it to be, but I would still give it a 4 out of 5, just because I really love Nanami and I would love to have a figure of him with some effects. Next is a Lucy figure. This actually goes with the Natsu figure that I have in my collection. I will insert a picture of that one for you guys. But it is her and Happy. So in the figure for Natsu, there is an opening in the base, and this is what would go there. However, the figure looks just fine without this. Oh, here you go. This is what it would look like with it. The figure looks perfectly fine without it, and alone the Natsu figure cost me, I think, like between $200 and $300 for the aftermarket price. And so, to be honest, as much as I love it with the figure, I love the Happy, I love the pose behind her, I think the height difference is really fun between those three. It's got a very good balance, but it's not something that I need right now because this alone is another $200 or more. So I did give it a 1 out of 5 of wishability. Next is a Power figure. This is an Artifacts. I love Artifacts figures. I feel like I say that a ton. I love Power. And I love this figure. It's super dynamic. I love the height. I'm sure you're hearing me say a lot of the same things, but as a figure collector, these are things I look for. But yes, it's super dynamic. I love the height. The coloring, the shading is amazing. The detailing in the teeth are amazing. I gave it a 3 out of 5 because I would love to have this in my collection. However, I know that I would have to make a whole separate Chainsaw Man shelf. So this might be something I get more when I have like a 4th case, if we ever get there.
Are we there yet?
We're not there!
Next is another Nami figure. I love this figure. I would definitely cosplay it. I think it's super hot.
Super hot.
I love her pose and I love the outfit with the gloves. There's only one figure of it, or picture of it, unfortunately, but this is the Treasure Cruise World Journey figure. But what really draws me to this figure more than anything is the outfit. So that is kind of why it's only at a 2 out of 5. It's not something I desperately need, but if I had this in my collection, I would be very, very happy. Next is a Gear 5 Luffy figure. This is a pop figure, 5 out of 5 wishability because this is just beautiful. I have a Gear 4 Luffy and it's one of my favorite figures in my collection, and I think this would look amazing with it. The detailing, the coloring, I love the base. It's super fun. The pose and the face itself are super detailed, super fun. I think they really got the expression spot on for this. I think right now this is currently in pre-order, but unfortunately, I've only seen it on Crunchyroll, and I prefer when I pre-order figures to do Ami Ami just so I can pay later. But if I had the chance to buy this figure, this is definitely, I love this figure. I honestly would probably, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, would probably buy this figure before the Zoro figure that I showed you guys earlier.
What?
It is just a really fun figure. It's beautiful. The coloring is spot on. I see no flaws in this figure. Honestly, beautiful. Next is a Boa Hancock figure. I actually already have 2 figures with this outfit. It's one of the outfits, it's my first cosplay ever, actually. But what I really like about this figure is the effects and the pose. I think it's really, really fun, and I have it as 5 out of 5. I would put this at 3 out of 5 in terms of wishability. Next, another Chainsaw Man, another figure art 0. I mean, figure arts never misses when it comes to effects on figures. I love the base. I love that the base is like blends in and it becomes the effects itself. I love the height of the figure. I love the detailing. Like, look at the neck alone. Truly phenomenal. The chainsaw, the detail, everything on this figure is just truly perfect. It's just an amazing figure. I gave it a 3 out of 5 because, like the Power, I would want to give it its moment on its own shelf, and right now I can't give that to him, but I would love, love, love to have this figure. Next is my boy Bartolomeo. I gave this a 4 out of 5 because I just really want to have Bartolomeo in my collection. And this is one of the better figures I've seen. I love the pose. The only thing that could make it better is if he's doing barrier, but I think it's very him. It's very much like in your face. It's very much like haha. The hair detailing is phenomenal. I think they could have done a little bit better with the abs. It kind of looks like corn on the cob.
It's cool.
Not gonna lie. But overall the detailing is great. I really like this figure and I gave it a 4 out of 5 because even though it's not the most detailed figure, it's not the most in-your-face figure, I really, really, really want Bartolomeo in my collection. So, I love him way too much. Next is another boa. They don't have the actual version of this one that I would want because there's a pink version and there's a red version. I gave this a 4 out of 5 in wishability. This is the Sweet Style boa figure because I recently made the cosplay for this for my 1-year anniversary. And I love to have figures in my collection of things I've cosplayed because I think it's a really fun bridge between my two hobbies. So I would die to have this figure, but the red version, which I will put a picture up on the screen for you guys. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all there is to that one. Next is another Ace figure. I love the base on this one. I think all the fire effects are really, really cool. I think the pose is cool.
Superhero landing. She gonna do a superhero landing. Wait for it.
It also goes with the Luffy, which I don't have on my wish list, but if I ended up getting this Ace, I would definitely add it to my wish list. My only complaint really is the face is just a little tiny bit wonky.
I'm a little fucked up.
For my liking, and you can really see it in the photo where he's with Luffy. It's just a wee bit wonky, so that's why I only give it 3 out of 5 in terms of wishability, but I still really like it. It's a figure, it's 0 figure. The next one is another Boa Hancock figure. This is probably like if I had the ultimate Boa Hancock figure, this would be it for me, which is why I gave it a 5 out of 5. It is more resin figure, more statue-esque than like most of the figures in my collection, but I love the detailing. The first time I saw this, I fell in love with it. The base itself is amazing. I love the gold and the hearts almost like glow. The blue in the background, it looks amazing. I love the detailing with the marine turned to a statue, wrapped around and solemn. I love her pose. It's just a really sexy, fun, detailed, beautiful, beautiful statue. It is very, very expensive. Very, 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 very expensive. If I ever made it big and somehow could afford a mansion, this would be the one. It's super unrealistic for me, but you know what? A girl can dream. Next is a Roronoa Zoro figure. I really like the effects with this one, as well as the pose. He looks beautiful. The outfit is doing him so much justice. I only gave this one a 4 out of 5 just because I'm not in love with the hair. I've definitely seen his hair looking better in other figures, but it's a really, really, really fun figure. The detailing is amazing with the shading. I just think he looks scrumdiddlyumptious. But he is very expensive. He's almost $1,000. So again, like the last Boa figure, this is a girl can dream kind of figure. I love the whole line for this. I would get the Zoro and the Luffy for sure, but I just think Sanji looks absolutely wonderful in this. The expression, I think that the blue and the green contrasts really, really, really well with his hair color. I just think he looks beautiful. He looks very, excuse my language, very cunty.
I am shocked and appalled.
I love it, but I have seen other figures I want more, which is why I'm only giving this one a 2 out of 5. Next is honestly a figure I saw quite a while ago on Crunchyroll, but couldn't fork up the money for it. It is beautiful. It is this Sogeking Pop figure. I love the detailing. I love the pose. I just think it's really, really, really fun. I mean, I love the length of it.
That's what. If you say that's what she said one more time, I'm gonna pop you.
It captures your eye. I see no faults in this figure. The detailing is amazing. The coloring is just spot on. Yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5 because, to be honest, I would give a lot to have this figure in my collection. I think it's a beautiful representation of King.
The wind carries my name from Sniper Island far away.
Next is another Rimuru figure. I think this is sort of one of the figures where when I say that they could do much better on them, this is what I mean. The hair is really, really light. It's almost iridescent, and the face is like, they put in all the effort in the base and the outfit and kind of left the face a little lackluster, which is why I only gave this a 1 out of 5. But overall, I think this is a really beautiful figure. I think they did a good job on shading almost everything. I really love the purple. I love the colors. They think they do a good contrast. I think it's a really fun figure, and I definitely would not be opposed to having this in my collection. There's just other figures I want more, so that's why I gave it a 1 out of 5. Next is a GEM or GEM Naruto figure of Kakashi. I have a Kakashi figure in my collection right now, which I really, really love. It's him on the tree in his Anbu, with his Anbu mask on the side, but I would also really love to have this figure right here. I love the effects. The pose is really, really fun. And I gave it a 1 out of 5 just because I'm not dying to expand my Naruto shelf right now, but I definitely would be really happy to have it in my collection. Next is another Nami figure. This one would complete my trio of Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. I don't know why I passed up on this when I got the Luffy and the Zoro. I don't think I was as into Nami as I am now. And maybe that is why, but I would love to have this to complete the trio. I don't think these figures look really good together. They don't quite go together like this picture has it, but I think it would really, really fun to have all 3 of them, and this is Figure Art Zero's. 4 out of 5 for wishability, just because I really do want to complete that trio, and since it's the only one I need, this is definitely a figure that's pretty high on my priority list. Next is a Chopper figure. I saw this Chopper and honestly fell in love with it. It is a Bondi Spirits is the manufacturer for this, but I just think this is one of the most adorable figures I've ever seen in my entire life.
Flattery won't get you anywhere with me.
It's very Chopper, like he's coming out of this book, and it's got like all the people, it's got Kuroha and Nami and Law, and he's just got his little cunt candy and his little doctor bag, and the pose is so fun. It is just an adorable figure. 5 out of 5 for this because I truly would give anything to have this in my collection. The next is a Zoro figure. I've seen this a few times and have reluctantly left it behind. It's not super expensive, but there's also some things I don't like. I don't like that you can see the line in the jacket right here. I think his face sculpting is really great, but it could be a lot more detailed. Obviously for the price, this is one of the cheaper figures, so I get it. I gave it a 2 out of 5 because I'm not dying to have this figure in my collection, but would love to have it nonetheless because it's Zoro. Next is another boa figure. Honestly, this realistically is the boa figure that I would get next for my collection. I would love to cosplay this outfit. I think it's super fun, it's super sexy. I've seen it many times in Little Tokyo and I've left it behind.
Family means nobody
gets left behind.
And I've been so sad every time. I just think it's a hot pose. She looks great. It's super fun. I have no complaints about this figure. 5 out of 5 wishability. Next is one of my favorite Luffy figures, beyond the Gear 5. I definitely would love to have this as a Mega House figure, which is why I gave it 5 out of 5. It's so fun. It's their Wano outfit and Luffy is just eating. He looks so happy. Chopper just looks like happy to be there. They just are living their best life and I really love the pose. I love the detailing, I love the dynamic. I think this is a very beautiful figure and the minute I saw it on TikTok, I wanted it. And I would love to have this. It's great. It's reasonably priced. I just haven't seen it in person and I think if I ever see it in person, I'll just grab it immediately because I love this figure. Next is another figure I've had my eye on. It's not super detailed, but it is just this Ace figure where he's running with everything. I really like this figure. I've seen it a lot. It's not super detailed, not super expensive. I don't know why I haven't gotten it, but it's 2 out of 5. I feel like there are other One Piece figures I want more. The next one is a Black Clover. This is more statue-like. It's creations at work. This is a figure I probably would not get until I am rich, if I'm ever rich.
I'm rich! I'm wealthy! Yahoo! I'm comfortably well off! Woohoo!
But there aren't many Black Clover figures out there, and this is one of the better ones. I love the detailing in his face. I think they did a really good job sculpting, painting. I mean, the shading is amazing. The detailing in the base is amazing. I'm a sucker for effects. I'm a sucker for a good base. And they just went all out in the details. I mean, you can see it in his grimoire. It's just amazing. I love it. But it's definitely not something that I could afford really anytime soon. So that is why it's at a 1 out of 5. Next is another Sanji figure. I really wanted this one. It's probably the Sanji figure I want the most. 4 out of 5 for wishability. It's this Whole Cake Island one. I love the pose. I think it's very Sanji. I love the effects on his leg. I love the outfit. Whole Cake is one of his best eras in terms of looks. So yeah, I love this. Last but not least is another figure that is a girl can dream. I probably will not be able to afford it anytime soon. It's more statuesque, which is why it's only 1, but it is a Yami figure. We know Yami's in my top 3, and I want to represent him. And I love, love, love this figure. It is super detailed. They got the sculpting really well. Like, look at his muscle. You could see every detail. It is a really great 360 figure. It's amazing. I love his expression. I love all the effects. I love the dynamics. I love the height. I love everything about this figure. It's just, unfortunately, a little bit too expensive. So yeah. Alright guys, so that's everything for this video. I am going to go ahead and, again, like I said at the beginning, link my figure list in the description box below. So if there's any figures you want to add to your wish list, you can do that. I just thought this video would be really fun to document and see maybe 2 years from now if I have anything from this wish list video. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more figure related videos, let me know in the comments down below what you guys would like to see. And this video is very long, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say bye.